Clicked. So it's time for that good old hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey guys. Look who I've got.
Look who's back.
Look at this.
Like a recurring nightmare.
No.
He came back.
Well, this is my first episode because I missed the last one. Well, guys, we've got Marvin in the house. Hopefully all of you are super excited to see him again. I know we were yesterday when he showed up. And he brought so much stuff.
Oh, we're going to go on some adventures today.
I'm pretty excited.
We are.
Yeah.
We
and
are.
I'm super, he brought some leathers that I have not seen in person.
That's saying something.
I've seen a lot of leather. So yeah, I'm super excited. And he's got a whole sheet printout of what we're going to cover today. And it is a lot.
Oh, I'm not tightly wound.
No.
I have a lesson plan. How sad is that? That is just,
good.
I can't remember anything. First, we have to go through the disclaimers.
Okay, I'm ready. I love those.
So,
I'm
Marvin, swear that I am beholden to no one. If I show you some leather or a tool, it's the one I use. I am not being paid. Springfield Leather is not paying me.
No,
Neither are any tanneries, manufacturers, tool makers. I don't know anybody at C.S. Osborne. If I use a tool, it's because I like it, and I guess that's an endorsement. But
hey, we'll take it.
I'm not shilling for anyone. The second disclaimer
These are his true feelings. He's about to share his true feelings with you about whatever it is that he's doing.
None of what I am about to show you is mine. It has been purloined. There's a good word.
Wow, that's
Purloined.
That's a big word.
I like that.
Stolen from somebody else. I didn't invent or originate any of this. I just want to show you some techniques and maybe a tip or trick or two that might help you out or answer a question you've had.
I'm excited, guys. I learned a lot yesterday.
We're going to
great.
get to work, and we're going to start with how to remove a rivet.
This guy's got some tricks up his sleeve.
The rivet removal video. All right. So first, Liz.
Yes.
Would you rivet something for me?
Yes.
Let's put it.
Let's do it. Let's see here.
And my man, Denny.
Denny's joining us.
There he is.
Hi, folks.
Came in.
We got enough stools for you, Denny.
To keep me straight.
Enough stools. I only need one.
Really?
So,
My butt's not that big.
All right. He even brought some fancy punches that I'm using.
well, fancy in that.
I mean, they look pretty snazzy.
Let me get in your way.
Oh,
here.
oop, oop.
I don't know that fancy in that I polished the tips so they'd work better, if that makes them fancy.
There we go.
All
All right. We punched some holes, and now I've got just some medium double cap nickel-plated rivets that I'm just going to set flat with a hammer.
Now,
This leather might be a little thin, actually.
assume that you had, whack away,
Thank you.
a construction spasm.
All
And
right.
the rivet's in the wrong place. You want to get the rivet out. Mm-hmm. Okay? How do you do that?
Right.
The standard procedure is to get yourself a pair of side cutters or diagonal cutters, go in there and chew away at the stem of the rivet and try and get it
Separated. Yeah.
without destroying your project.
Correct.
There's an easier and cleaner way to do that. You need two things.
Okay.
You need an anvil. An anvil.
Oh, yeah.
It
we're ready.
happens to be made of leather, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, so we've got...
And you need some steel. Oops. I keep.
No, you're good. We can go
I'm
back
good.
here.
All right.
Okay.
Steel pin punches. And we'll talk about that. So, Liz, go ahead.
All right.
You,
So you find the hole that this falls into.
Right.
So you've got all these holes punched through here, and then you're just going to wiggle this, right, until it sets good.
Until it sets in the proper
So
hole.
I think that's a good one.
That might work.
It seems like a good size.
Let's find out. And then you take a 3/32 inch
All right. Pin
punch.
Pin punch. So there's no hole.
Put it right in the center of the rivet and give it a whack.
Aye, aye, Captain. I made it. So that...
And the rivet comes out.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
And your project is undamaged. There we go.
Yeah. I mean, you've got
Other
the
than
cap
you got
outline.
an extra hole because you put it in the wrong spot.
Well, how shall we say? Repairing that is another video.
Maybe you just got the color of the rivet wrong.
So, one more time.
One more time.
One more time. And we're going to talk about this multi-holed anvil here in a moment. Put it on the center. Give it a whack. You'll feel it pop through.
Yep.
And your rivet is out.
And it's out.
It's pretty sweet.
Is the size of that pin pretty, is that pretty important?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Smaller than that, and it just makes a hole in the rivet cap instead of pushing the stem down.
Mm-hmm.
Wider than that, and it'll just jam.
No, it won't drive through.
It won't drive through.
So you kind of want it whatever size
that size, 3/32 inch, has worked. I've tried it in like 4 different sizes of double cap rivets, and it works for all of them.
Cool.
All right. Now we're going to go to snap removal. But first we have to put
I do have this snap from yesterday, but we'll set a line 20.
Let's set some snaps.
Set a couple snaps.
And we're not going to use your ordinary snap setting tools.
Right, Marvin bought some
We're going to use
ones.
a snappy snap setter.
A snappy snap setter.
Say that.
All right, so I've got my anvil for the cap side. And we've got the cap and the socket.
And this little gem, that's a 20, right?
Yep.
Is a Barry King
Oh, right here.
snap setter. Here's the one from the
I didn't know
920.
Barry King made a snap setter until Marvin sent us this link.
This is a sweet tool. Is it necessary? No. Where we had some. Okay. These ordinary snap setters will set your snap just fine. But this one,
It's a neat little thing.
it has 2 openings of different sizes. One for the male, one for the female. I forget what that's called. Is that called the
It's a socket.
socket?
Yep.
Okay. One fits over the socket.
And then this little pin has the little setting side and then a flat side that you're going to hammer against.
You just
So
set
that goes
it
all the
in
way
there.
through. And then you just hold everything down.
And whack it. That be it.
You know what? I think it needs a little bit farther. Still a little loose.
Give it a little.
But this all self-adjusts.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. And if you set a lot of snaps, you'll love it. Because what it does, let me borrow that from you, is it pushes down. If you're going to set a snap, especially on leather that's soft, it's not as firm of hand as this, you want to push that socket down over the post. You push it down, then you go to get your tool and it pops back up.
Yeah.
Right? So you push it down and you go to get your tool. About the 3rd time you do that, you hold it down with one hand, right? Then you get your snap setter and you hold it. Let's see, you got these 2 fingers and this finger, and then you whack it. What this does is just...
Oh, you need your line 24.
It saves you from pinching your fingers.
It does. It keeps you from whacking your fingers. This thing holds it down. Just put that in and give her a whack.
That's right.
All right, you go ahead and finish setting those. I've stolen all your tools.
What will that do if you're setting a long post snap in a piece of thin leather? Will it still set a snap?
no better than a regular one. In other words, if you're doing that, you,
You
need to
still
cut
need
them.
the right size
Yeah,
post.
you need the right size post. It's not any better at setting posts that are too long. No. No, you
Well,
still
that's,
need to
you know,
grind
and that's
post
the
off.
problem most people are having
Yeah.
when they set to line 20 or 24 snaps is they use a post that's too long.
Too long.
And then they say, oh,
That's a
the
good set.
post always bends and it's always wicker build,
All right.
you know.
And I'm very sure that our man Tony has the link up, or at least a PDF file.
The PDF file is in all the chats.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So Marvin has his meeting notes typed up for us.
So, with some links. So, if you're interested, you could go to
Yeah.
Barry King, and it's in the other tools section or something. I forget. It took me a while to find it.
And Barry King doesn't have a way for us to send you directly to the one product because
Right.
he doesn't
Right.
do that. So it just sends
You'll
you to
have
the
to look
page,
around.
and it's like halfway down.
Okay.
Okay.
So now
Let's
we're
get
going to
these things
take.
out of here.
Let's get those out of there. We
Okay.
put the snap in the wrong place,
Shucks.
and we want it out of
So
there.
we're gonna find. Look, that one doesn't really fit in there. It's too big. Fits right in there. Just sits really nice.
And that is a line 20, so we're going to use our 1/8 inch. Going to go
Okay.
up a 32nd, 1/8 inch pin punch.
Before we do that, can we go over a couple questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Elizabeth says, I'm guessing that would be cheaper than one of those leveler presses and would prevent some headaches. And
Yes.
then, is the gadget that you're using just for the socket, or does it work for all?
It's double sided. So
It's-
one side is for the stud, one side is for the socket.
And then does the snap setter come as a set?
Yes.
As a 20 and 24?
No.
No, you have to buy them
It
separately.
comes as a set in it. You got the holder and the little pin that you whack.
So this is for line 24. This is your large side for your socket, and then this is the small side for the stud. So it will center both sides for you in one compact tool.
Yeah, and King Solomon, we are hiring.
All right. So we got an 1/8 inch punch. We're going to just set that right over the hole, right over the
Right in there.
we just made, and pop it out of there. There it goes. And the snap is out. And except for a hole that you didn't want there, the project is undamaged.
That's right.
It's and go ahead, while you're at it, you might as well slap that
A 24 out.
out of there. And for that, we need the next size, 5 32nd cents. So I'll trade you punches here.
And I'm going to go, nope, just to the next
That's a
one.
cute little set of punches.
It is. And I'm going to thank you for reminding me. We're going to talk about that
Maybe we're
next.
gonna go
And then
this
we'll
way.
talk about the anvils.
There it is.
And there it is. Pops right out.
And you just got to get it out.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
So, this set of punches, there we go. I forget. $10, 12 on Amazon for the whole set of pin punches. You only need 3, but as is typical, if you go to buy them individually, they cost a lot more than just getting the
Buying
set.
the whole set.
Yeah, than just getting the set. And who knows, you may use snaps that you need a 1/4 inch pin punch. I don't know. But those were pretty easy to come by. It's the anvil
This is the special thing.
that was a challenge.
Because you need to give yourself some room to push it
You
out.
have to have some depth.
Yep.
You've got to have some depth. So,
Tell us about your trials and errors.
can we switch over to the overhead, over my,
I think you're here.
Okay.
Okay.
there we go. All right. I figure you need about 1/2 inch of depth, and it works.
Okay.
Great. So I took 3 pieces, come here, of, hold it that way and then hold it steady, 8-9 ounce veg tan, punched the holes in them, and then glued them together.
How'd
That
that go?
sounds really good.
You punch the holes first?
Yes, I did, because I don't have a hole punch. that'll go through a 1/2 inch of leather. It will, but only one side of it's going to be the right side. The other side's going to be spread by the punch.
Because the punch is
I don't have a punch that'll go through a 1/2 inch of leather straight down.
Could you use drill press?
If I had a real shop, I'd have a drill press, and this would be easy. Except that when you get into these large bit sizes, it gets kind of pricey for drill bits. So I used what I had. I had some leather punches. I had some leather. I measured carefully. I lined it all up, glued it together, and of course, the holes didn't match. That's not going to work. Maybe it worked for somebody else, but it didn't work for me.
The problem is that this is a pretty snug fit, and so once you get it in there, if your holes aren't lining up, you're not going to get it out.
You're not going to get it out, or all the way down.
Right.
So that was the first prototype. Okay. I'm not smart enough, clever enough to put together 3 pieces of leather. So I went to 2 pieces. And this is 16, 17 ounce.
Saddle skirting.
Saddle skirting.
I can tell you what it's all together.
Now I only have to punch 2 pieces and get them lined up. Even I can line up 2 pieces of leather. 3, not so much.
Okay, so this is gone. So here's my gauge. So it's gone all the way around.
Yeah, it's gone.
And then it's back to 4 ounces. So we've got 29 ounces.
29 ounce leather.
Is what we've got there.
About 15 ounce leather.
Yeah.
So that worked. Glued them together. Before I forget, I'm going to talk about holes here in a second, but what I don't want to forget to tell you is once you get this made, don't oil it.
Oh.
Don't feed it. Don't dress it. Don't resist the temptation.
Why is that?
You want this as stiff as you can. By preference, this would be a piece of steel, not leather. And if you don't want it to soften up at all, you want it to stay as hard as you can.
Maybe put a little finish on it.
I did put a little finish on it, but I sure didn't oil it. Out of abundance of caution. Is that what they call that? All right. So now we're going to take the first of many diversions that we're going to go on. We're going to go off on a tangent. And this
We're headed
tangent
to the country.
is going to be punching holes, which I know all of you think, I can punch a hole. That is not sophisticated. All right. The problem is when you get into these odd size holes, you look at that PDF, and I've got them listed there in American and metric. Ooh. America is the only country that uses inches and pounds and miles.
Feet.
The whole rest of the world is metric. Even
Parts of
Great Britain.
Parts of America are metric.
Parts of them.
The scientific
America.
parts.
Good parts.
South America,
South, there you
Middle
go.
America.
And North and Canada.
Just everywhere.
Just the United States.
The United States,
Anyway.
not just America.
So, first.
Texas is even different, you know.
I don't think they measure
I'm not
anything down
going
there.
Into that.
I'm not going
How
there.
They measure stuff.
I'm just going to
No.
agree with you. Yes, Texas is different. We're just not going to talk about the differences. In deference to our viewership, I should say. All right. So the problem is none of these holes are a standard size that you'd use for anything else. They require large punches, and large punches are expensive, way expensive. Arch punches. There's a 1 inch.
You said that one was $35, I think.
Come in these different sizes, but yeah, when you buy them, I mean that's starting to add up in a hurry. Assuming you don't have a drill press, which would be the easy way to do this, there is a less expensive way to punch holes, and that is
Oh, I forgot to go look.
with one of these babies. let me open this up. Okay. How old is that?
A couple years, I think.
75, 76, somewhere in there. I got that. They call it, it writes it up, hefty punch kit. Yeah, it's a hefty punch kit. And as you can see, it's got a bunch of punches. Starts at 1/4 inch and goes by 1/16 up to 1 inch or 1/8 as you get to the larger sizes. So this allows you to punch a lot of different size holes, which you're only going to do occasionally.
Right.
Right. I mean, unless you go into rivet removal anvil production,
Or trivet production.
Or trivet production. Thank you. I bought arch punches because of this project. Let's move this aside and lay these out.
Aren't those fun?
These are hot pads or trivets or whatever you want to call it. A piece of 7/8 or 8/9 veg tan or one of these. Yeah, that's a piece of latigo with
It's a piece of pig on there.
piece of pig suede on the back. I'm not going to go any further into that unless you have a question, but only to say that each one of these has 16 holes. I made a dozen of them.
It's a lot of holes to punch.
200 and somebody with a calculator. That's a lot of holes to punch, right? That's a lot of holes to punch. So I just went ahead and bought the arch punches for those large size holes. Okay? 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch. One hint. When you buy an arch punch, and I don't care who you buy it from, that's the way it's going to look. Whether you buy it from Osborne or I don't care, the tool maker. This, come here, is what you want. That has been smoothed with, I don't know, 320 and then wet and dry paper and then 400 and 600 or something, and then buffed on the wheel. Not sharpened, didn't sharpen it, just polished it so that it drives a lot easier. So,
Point is, when they grind those, they grind them around in a circle, and those little grinds act like barbs.
Yeah, as you try to drive it through your leather.
Yeah, if they could grind them vertically
right.
rather than
I see
horizontally,
what
it
you're
wouldn't be
saying.
so bad.
Yeah.
But that's what you're trying to get rid of, is those
So do yourself a favor
horizontal marks.
and polish your punches. I should polish these, but I don't use them that often. Now, going back, let me get this. You can still buy this.
I believe that we offer an Osborne version of this very set.
we do.
We do, yeah. I don't know the number offhand, but we do have it.
I printed
Or-
this off of Amazon. It's called a hollow kit. Oh, I don't know.
I think it cut off some of it.
They cut it off.
Hollow punch kit.
Punch kit.
Yeah.
And it says it's good for punching gasket holes in leather, copper, plastic. Copper? Well, I don't know. But anyway, okay.
Once.
Once.
You have to polish those things a lot.
Anyway, that's $30.99 for the whole set. Now, the handle appears to be plastic, whereas this one's metal. But other than that, I mean, if you're just going to punch an occasional big hole, that's one way to save yourself some money.
I can't even find an Osborne one on there.
And if you're going to decide to make hot pads, and you could do any design you want, right? I mean, you're just filigreeing it, essentially. But when I decided I wanted to make those, a bunch of those, I got a template to mark all those holes, because I'm just not clever enough to get those 5-pointed stars even. All right. One last suggestion for you before we leave punching holes And that is, if you're going to use, especially a 1 inch or larger arch punch, you cannot.
Right here.
This little thing is not up to the task.
He's a little lightweight.
You need
Uh-oh.
a bigger hammer. Thanks, Liz. Nice catch. That's a Berry King 48 ounce, right? 3 pound maul. This thing will drive a 1 inch punch. I mean, it just whack, whack, and it's done.
But also here is where you want.
Well, not on your. You want a firm surface.
This matters. Is
I use a piece of 1/2 inch steel plate
there you go.
under my cutting board when I'm going to punch those. You need something substantial.
Well, when I make a knife sheath and I'm going to drive the oblong punch through the 3 layers, if I'm going to do like a pancake holster style sheath, I go out to my husband's 175-pound anvil in the garage and I take my cutting board and I go out there
Right.
if I'm going to be doing any significant number of those, because otherwise you're just going to be, it's going to take 10 hits on every hole
Right.
just to drive through. So,
When I was in Wyoming, Keith had a old butcher block, you know, about this big that they used to butcher meat on. Of course, they're 18 or 20
Right.
inches deep
Yeah.
and dense. They're made out of maple, I believe.
Huh.
So they're pretty hard.
Yeah, hardwood.
But we punched everything on those and they worked good because there was no give to
Right.
those.
No
yeah.
give.
Did you just use the surface and then plane it, or did you have a cutting board on top that you would replace?
Just use the surface.
Yeah.
But see, it's all end grain. If you use the flat grain of a piece
Oh,
of
you
wood, then
chew
it
that
chips
up.
out.
Yeah, you
But the
chew
end
that
grain
up in a minute.
doesn't do that.
Interesting. So if you've got a tree trunk,
They
you're good to
butcher
go.
on those things for years at a time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That sounds really sanitary.
Oh, it is.
So, Tony, give me the overhead, please, again. So I can show the people at home. Let's see here. This is a photo on my phone of a doormat.
Oh.
A piece of, what was that? It was black latigo that I had that was really rough. Scars and the surface wasn't good, and who cares? You make a doormat out of it.
Yeah.
You can use
Wipe
some
your
pretty
feet
sad
on it.
looking leather. My point is that particular doormat has 77 1 inch holes.
Just
Understand
77.
77 1 inch holes. The first 14 aren't bad. Well, man, after a while,
Did you find that you needed some support?
the hammer, okay, I'm getting old, but even you young strapper males out there are gonna wish that you had a machine to do that with. What I found was I went on good old Amazon and bought this. Let me see if I can get it under here. This is just a wrist brace. It just wraps around. Okay.
You want me to model
You
for
got
you?
to be smarter than the
Brace yourself, Marvin.
got to be smarter than the Velcro. Brace myself.
Yeah.
Come on. I can't do
you
this.
go.
There we go. And it wraps tightly around there. And all that does is give your wrist some support. So when you're holding this 3 pounds worth of hammer, it doesn't wear your wrist out.
Jessica wanted to remind you, Marvin, don't forget the ladies.
What do I keep saying?
We said the men whenever they pick up their hammer.
Oh,
Don't
Yeah, us
forget-
ladies
Don't forget the
hammer
ladies.
too, you know.
my bad. I apologize. I know I have some ladies that I like a lot, that even like me somewhat. Okay, excuse me a second here.
Oh,
I have
and
to
Greg is a first-time live viewer today, so.
Hi, Greg. Welcome to the show.
So I believe, checking my notes, that that's it. Unless somebody has a question about rivet removal or using big hammers.
It pretty much ruins it whenever you take out a rivet or a snap. You move on to a new piece, right? You can't reuse those.
What do
Nope.
you do?
No, those
with-
are done.
What do you do with that extra hole?
The extra hole.
Whenever, if you put it in
When
the
you
wrong
put
spot.
the rivet in the
Ordinarily,
Maybe you just cry a little.
Stick another rivet in it.
ordinarily, it's a situation where I have riveted a billet or a strap onto something. Need to get the rivet out, I just make a new billet or strap. That's the only way.
Yeah.
You can't disguise that hole. Shorten it up some.
Stick another rivet in there.
Well, you could stick a decorative rivet in there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, okay, so I do have one question. So usually the reason that I need to remove a rivet is because when I set it, the post was
Right,
too long
right.
and it's gone cockeyed.
Okay. And this is, at least the ones I tried, will take a cockeyed.
Well, so whenever you're trying to remove it, you want to make sure that you're removing the cap that is still correctly centered over the hole and not the end that has gone
Otherwise, you
astray.
made another hole.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you've compounded your problem.
Exactly, yeah. So make sure that if you're doing this method, you're removing the side of the rivet that is still where the hole is that you put it in.
And I did think of one last thing. After all this, making these nice leather anvils, I'm thinking, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I go onto Amazon and I try and find pieces of metal with holes in them. And you can buy pieces of metal with holes in them, but not these holes. Right? And nobody's making something like that. Then I have an epiphany. I have something that already has the holes in it. And what's it made of?
Steel.
Steel.
Good steel.
A rain rounder. I know somebody who has a rain rounder mounted on his bench. This thing is perfect. It comes in a whole bunch of different sizes of holes. It's already made. And it's steel. It doesn't matter whether you put neatsfoot oil on there or not. You're not going to soften that baby up.
Kind of hanging off the edge so that it sits flat and you're good to go.
So, I'm not recommending that anybody go out to buy a rain rounder. Those cost more than arch punches. But if you have one, don't make the same mistake I did and spend hours making one out of leather when you could have just picked this one up out of your toolbox and had one ready made. Okay, so one more. That's all about rivet removal, but let's talk some about setting rivets. And in this case, we're talking about copper rivets. So, we've got a number 12 copper rivet.
There's a burr.
And a burr. And let me just rivet a couple of pieces of leather together here. We already got, that'll work. Already got one hole. Let's make another. Oh, come on. Hit that baby. Okay. We'll rivet these together. Now, setting the burr. You can use a standard, get them up here, there you go, setting tool, which come in different sizes for different size rivets.
So this is the one that we sell right here. That's our version. And then you've got the Weaver's Heritage, which I stole from Denny yesterday.
And these are marked for number 9 or number 12 rivets, whichever you have. And this tool is a proven tool. It works every time. You don't need to go out and get a new rivet setting tool. However,
if you've got some money burning in your pocket.
If you got holes in it, you have heard Denny refer to many times in these videos a copper rivet domer. Right? A copper rivet domer from Douglas. No, it's not. It's
Douglas too.
Rocky Mountain Leather Supply sells these tools. Let me show them to you. Comes in a set of 3 and are made for you. If you use size 12 rivets, buy the size 12 set. It comes in 3 pieces, all conveniently marked for you. one ring.
Chronologically,
Let me
Mark.
let me see here. Let me get these up.
Right here.
Right. I don't know. Can
Here,
you
let's
see those? There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we've got the.
So there goes one stripe, two stripes, and three stripes. Okay? So you use them in order. You take the number one, gosh, Marvin, you had a choice there, and just stick it over there. And let me get something that's got a little more oomph to it here. And set your rivet. Then you cut.
Everybody avert
When
their
you set
eyes.
that rivet, do you want to cut it off flush to that washer?
No.
That's the right answer.
Why would I? No, it won't work if you.
So you want to leave a little bit.
You want a stub,
Okay.
right? Stubby
What's
is
that?
good.
You want a stub.
You
All
want
right.
a stub. Ask Napoleon Bonaparte. He wasn't very tall. Stubby is good. Right. What?
He just was making sure you weren't going to cut it all the way down there flush because it looks like you're about to.
Well, but
No,
but if you look at
there's
that cutter, it's beveled off.
It is
So it's
beveled
gonna leave a
off.
little
It's
bit.
going to leave a little stub on there.
What's your favorite
There we
size of copper rivet or rivet and burr, whether it's brass or copper? You like?
I use a lot of number 12s because I'm not making saddles or tack that requires a bigger rivet than that.
Yeah.
I use, but that's just what I use. All right. Where's, you got the hammer?
I have the
The
big
real
one?
hammer.
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go. All right.
the real hammer.
There. So, we'll flatten that out a little bit, and we'll go to the number 2, which just peens that over and makes a nice
We are
little,
right here. No, we're
button.
not. We're right there.
makes a nice little button on there.
There we go.
That it actually rivets it over. Hence
It's-
the name.
Peens it over.
Rivet.
Rivet. There you go. Then you can take the number 3. I'm not smarter than the camera. Oh, there you go. The number 3 tool. Flip that over. Put it over the rivet head. Come here, sweetheart. And
Maybe you need to be not.
oh,
on the
I
board.
need to be on.
Yeah.
Boy, you know that's going to make a.
Yeah, he's still pretty.
What I needed
Nubby.
that I didn't bring it was a bench anvil. What I need is
I've
a
got
piece
one.
of steel. Because that's gonna,
Let me
here.
go get your.
No, I got it, Denny. Let me use,
You can use that to your rain rounder.
I could, or
We need Greg's iron.
somewhere in here, I've got, aha! An anvil that will work.
Look at that.
There we go. All right. So, take number 3, set it on there. Ah, there we go. And it rounds that
There we go.
rivet nicely. And if you want to be particularly fastidious about it, you can do the same thing on the other side, but nobody does. I've never seen anybody do that, but you could if you wanted to. But that is a rivet domer. That right terminology there. Okay. So now you know
If you're
that
fancy
those-
like Carrie Schwartz, then you go and you engrave your initials into every single one of those domed rivets.
the that is the domer, and where you can get one.
I think the buckle guy also
think
came
the
out with a
link-
set like
link
that.
is on
Yeah,
there.
they were just talking about it
Okay.
in the Twitch chat.
Yeah,
The buckle guy. Oh, also sells the tools.
yeah, he has a set like that.
John Adams, Denny was asking you a question. Wanted to know how you afforded all those expensive tools on $4 an hour.
Well, I'm a kleptomaniac for
There
one.
you go. All right.
If I go buy one, it's liable to go with me.
Speaking of hammers, we're about to switch gears
All right.
with a hammer. All right. In other words, we're going to go in a completely different direction and show you a system for putting soles
On moccasins.
On moccasins. How do you put a sole on a moccasin? There are a variety of ways. And let me reach over here.
I heard there are some wrong ways.
There are many wrong ways. Let me show you some many wrong ways to do this. I have tried. So I make some moccasins for my grandkids. No big deal. Everybody makes moccasins for grandkids. They're active people.
Okay.
They like to run and play. The sole, whether you're using bison or elk or whatever, on a moccasin is pretty slick.
Oh, yeah.
A leather sole has all the traction of a Democrat in the Missouri legislature.
That's a lot of traction.
Okay?
That's actually a probably pretty accurate
There
analogy.
you go. So, I'm good looking for a way to put something that has traction. And what has traction? Rubber. I mean, that's why they make your tires out of rubber instead of leather, right?
Yeah.
For traction.
Now, I love my leather shoes, but I don't wear them in the rain because I'll fall on my face.
So, I tried a variety of leather soling materials. This stuff is latex, 1/8" latex. It's pretty stout. It gives you some traction. You sew it on the bottom of your moccasin,
Uh-huh.
and 2, maybe 3 months later, it will have pulled through the stitches. It won't stay stitched on there, whether you hand stitch it or machine stitch it.
It doesn't like to be perforated, does it?
It doesn't like to be perforated. So, okay.
So that was a bad experiment.
Let's try crepe rubber, right?
Okay.
Crepe. A lot of shoes have crepe rubber soles. You can buy it in 1/8" and 1/4", already creped, right? Rough. Sew that to the bottom of your moccasin.
Is this texture what is considered the crepe part of the crepe?
I believe so.
Okay. What
Because
is it?
it's
Is it just plastic?
It's it's called coagulated latex.
Well, that's fancy.
Who dreams up those names? Coagulated?
The scientist that
That's
made
what
it.
your blood does. Coagulates. Coagulated latex.
Okay.
So, this, excuse me for reaching over, was my latex, and somebody coagulated it, right? And guess what? It doesn't work any better than the regular.
Does it also not like to be perforated?
It doesn't like to be perforated. It doesn't last. So then I go and buy just regular old black 1/8" rubber.
How'd that go?
Same.
Really?
Yes. In other words, not up to the task. Didn't work. I'm out of. I've learned my lesson now. I'm not going to keep buying different pieces of rubber because I know they're not going to work. Excuse me. So, Springfield Leather sells pre-cut rubber soles, 1/4" thick. I never tried these. I'll bet once you got those sewed to your moccasins, they'd stay, that the stitches wouldn't pull through. But I pictured myself with a punch, trying to punch holes with a stitching punch and 1/4" of leather.
Yeah.
First of all, it would resist the punch. But second of all is you make a stroke and you're going to get hit in the head with a hammer, right? It's going to bounce right back. Right?
You need to practice with a hammer a little bit.
Do I? Well, I need some practice or something. Anyway.
I think you'd be okay if you had a class 3 or a class 4. You could probably sew through it all right with a long stitch length.
So,
but if you don't have that option.
I own a class 4, and I'm sure it would stitch through that.
Oh, yeah.
To the bottom of my moccasin. So I'll have to admit that I haven't tried that. But what I have tried is what we're about to show you.
All right. I'm excited. We're going to make
this method.
mess.
This method works.
Did you know there's a different color of that shoe sole? In
There's
this room?
3 colors. Brown.
Well, there's another one right here in this room.
Do you have one?
No.
Oh, this table.
Oh, black.
This is
right.
Well, that's actually the brown.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it?
I promise you. Because we didn't have the black when I put it on there. Because I wanted black.
Did I dye it?
You went in one spot.
Couple times.
It's orange in one spot.
Yeah, so it's just our poundo material that we sell for cutting surfaces as well.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to ask, this is going to be our moccasin sole. I've just glued a piece of elk to some veg stand.
I have a job to do.
We can simulate. And she's going to rough that up because we're going to put some glue on it.
You want me to rough this side up?
And yes, rough the elk up.
Okay.
And
Get rough with it.
get rough with the elk. You get okay.
Just not my finger.
And while she's doing that,
Not your leather, just the leather.
I'm going to take my silicone cereal bowl here and concoct a rubber sole using this substance. We get, there we go. Black rubber crumb. And where do you get black rubber crumb? Where do you get anything?
Probably Amazon.
Amazon. This, you pour a little in here. I'm going to pour some out on a piece of paper or something white so you can see what black rubber crumb.
I wonder if you could go to your
Looks
local
like-
school that has an AstroTurf field. and
It might
take
be.
out of there.
What these are little bitty pieces of recycled tires, car truck tires, right? That's all it is. It's just ground up tires. All right.
Good use
Thank
for
you,
'em.
Liz.
You're welcome.
Now, I'm going to take some solvent-based cement. Pause. Which solvent-based cement?
That's what I was
This
going to ask.
this could be.
You didn't pause quite long enough.
All right. It doesn't matter. I'm a barge kind of person. Only because that's what I started with. That was all that was available, at least that I knew of, when I started working with leather, was barge. So I still use barge. Is it better than Masters? No, I don't think so. We're going to use Van Grip because the name just sounds
It's really cool,
grippy.
isn't it?
It's grippy. So
It's grippy. It's in the name.
I'm going to take some solvent-based cement, and I'm going to try and do this without getting it all over either one of us.
Oh, that's
All right?
nice.
And I'm going to pour that in that bowl. Would you hand me one of those paper towels?
I can do that.
I could stick my finger in there, but I'd rather not. And while I'm stirring that soup up, Liz is going to put a coat of cement on our
On our shoe.
shoe sole.
Okay.
So let me shift that over. I don't care what you mix with. You can use a spatula or a putty knife or whatever you've got. I'm going to use a tongue depressor so I can throw it away. And I guessed. I didn't measure.
You didn't measure?
I didn't measure that. And it looks like it's turned out pretty well, but that's an accident, I assure you. Ordinarily, I'm going to have to add more cement
more
or
of
more
one or the
crumb.
other.
Yeah, because this isn't going to work. But what I've got now is something that's the consistency of, well, how shall I put this? Meadow muffins.
Looks like
That looks like what I used to make when I was 5, playing in the
Right.
yard.
Yeah.
looks like an uncooked Oreo cookie.
Like a
Or,
mud, mud pie.
or a meadow muffin.
A
Yeah.
metal muffin.
Meadow,
Oh, a meadow?
meadow
I
muffins.
understand
You
what you're saying
understand
right
what
now.
I'm saying? Yes. Cow chip.
We used to call it cow flop.
Cow flop. All right.
My sister was calling it a road apple
Road apple.
the
There
other
you
day, but I
go.
think she was talking about
Road
horses.
apple.
That's whole.
All right.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Okay.
You do not have to wait. Let me
No waiting?
no waiting. You do not have to wait for this to set up. Right? In fact, you don't want to wait for it to set up. While it's still wet, you just take and spoon some of this magic
This looks like a great
mixture
kids activity.
right on there. Okay,
You must make your grandkids make their own shoes, don't you?
Well,
They make the soles anyway.
I would, except
They live far away, don't
No, they don't.
Oh.
They live 15 minutes away.
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice. But they've got one of those mothers. And I don't...
One of those mothers.
Brenda, if you're watching this video,
He loves you.
but she
You
doesn't...
want me to mute the microphone, Marvin?
No, she's the
Okay.
kind of mother that does not like her children to be asphyxiated by the vapors that come off of solvent-based cements. I don't know what her problem is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You said, honey, I'm doing okay.
The kids and I, the grandkids and I get in there and do this, and we're all having a great time. You know?
She's ruining
No.
their life by not letting
Their mother has no sense of humor. That's what it is.
She needs more
This
glue.
is-
She'll laugh at everything.
All right.
Christina was saying the same thing, except for the fumes.
Well, you just do it outside.
So we're just going to
I'm sure you got a mask laying around somewhere.
slather this on. Oh, I probably do. I'm not going to be too fastidious about this.
Man, Marvin, you're just
Yes.
using all the big words.
Well, I'm sorry.
What was that? What was that one again?
It was purloined.
Purloined.
Yeah, stole. That was an Edgar Allan Poe poem, wasn't it? Purloined letter? Or I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. We've gotten
That does sound familiar.
gotten sidetracked again. Now I am going to
We live our life side.
let this set up just a little bit so we can. There we go. Boy, I made enough. And I tried to save this. I tried to.
You're good. Just hold tight just
All
a
right.
second. And I will come to you.
There we go.
Excellent. First time I did this, I thought, well, I got this stuff extra here. I'll just put it in a jar and put a lid on it and save it, and it'll be all right the next time.
Did it coagulate?
Just like the latex. Yes,
Did
sir.
you try adding some thinner?
I did, and it stirred back up, but it was never right.
Yeah.
It was never right.
So this is not a reusable mixture.
Not a reusable mixture.
Can you just make it thicker?
And so, I think so.
Just to use up the extra?
After a
Of course,
while,
they'd be
you make
short-legged
the
on
make the
one
sole make the sole thicker, sure. Or I don't know, find another use. Go out and put some on your truck tires. I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
There you go.
all right. So we're going to let this tack up just a little, and it is. There you go.
Getting there.
Already tacky. So we're going to take our friend, the parchment paper.
Okay.
You remember the parchment paper? We're going to put it on there. We're going to grab our roller and we're going to even this out. All right, so that we've got a lumpy sole is a sad sole.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, you don't want lumpy.
I don't even like my socks to be lumpy.
So we're going to smooth this out. I'm not using a lot of pressure here.
I don't know who does.
There we go. Little bit more pressure. And there we go. No, it's not perfect. And no, it's not beautiful. However, it is very functional.
Yeah.
And I had my prototype testing assistants,
Yeah.
grandkids,
Your children.
test this out. Wear the moccasins. And their mother with no sense of humor also has a pair. Anyway, she's so,
okay when it's dry.
Actually, she wears them more than they do. But in any case, she gets over a year, maybe 2,
Wow.
before she needs to get retreaded.
Yeah.
Right?
Could you
Eventually
make like a jig where this set down in so that you could get that kind of perfect and spread out?
Make a form.
Yeah.
I thought I was tightly wound. Jeez. No, a jig. Yes, you could. If you were going to go into the moccasin soling business, yeah, that'd be a lot easier if you had a wall or something, a jig around there to do that. The dye
Yeah, it would be a lot
that
of.
cuts them. Where's that thing? Yeah. This would
so
be
you could
perfect.
just click out really thick
Click it
leather
out.
that you could put in there.
So in other words, it's durable. The beauty of it is, when it is time to retread this, all you do is take a little solvent, whatever Master's Barge, Van Grip you got, clean up the little bit of stuff that's left, and then just mix a new batch.
And
You don't
go
need to
right
rough
on
it up
top
again.
of it?
Go right on top of it.
Just level it back
Just
off.
level it back off. You don't need to rough it up or do anything. You just need to reinvigorate, revitalize that glue that's on there, and then solar up
very
again.
nice.
So there is a system for
Okay.
making moccasin soles that not only works, but is fun and gives you a buzz. What do you want? All right. What more could you ask
Sold.
for? Okay. While I take a sip, Tony, we got any questions over there? Any? Or is everybody falling asleep?
They're gluing up all their stuff.
They're gluing up. Oh,
They wanted to have fun too.
okay. We're going to switch gears again. And Liz, let's put this somewhere where Marvin won't get it on his shirt. Okay? Thank you. Let's, and this will be set up by tomorrow, and
Be ready
we
to clean
can
up.
Just peel
throw
off
it.
of
It'll
that
just
bowl.
peel it off that silicone bowl. I love that silicone bowl.
Yeah, it's a cute little bowl.
Okay. Let's clean this up if you would put that away, please. We'll get the glue out the way. We're going to talk about thin leather.
This is my favorite part of
Thin
today.
leather. There's some tricks to using thin leather that I want to show you. But first, I want to just tell you, and let's look at a little thin leather. What I'm talking about here is stuff like kangaroo, right? It's thin. What is that? 2 ounce, maybe? 1
Hey,
to
look.
2 ounce? Whoa!
Whoa!
There she is.
It is 2
to 3.
3/4.
All right, 2 to 3 ounce.
Oh, that's 2. Yep.
Kangaroo. I don't need to tell you, but I will. The virtues of kangaroo. It's tough. I read somewhere, probably online, which means it's not true, but I heard somewhere that ounce for ounce, kangaroo is the toughest leather you can get. Right? It just wears well.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I
Well, have you seen those critters?
They're
They'll
mean.
take you out.
They're mean.
yeah,
They'll punch you in the face.
the inside of a kangaroo is just as tough as the outside. Okay, let's put it that way. So this little card pouch I got, it's good old kangaroo. In this case, it was natural
Okay.
kangaroo that I dyed oxblood or something. But I've had this for a long time, and that stuff just wears. It's great, and the joint just never gives out. Kangaroo, good stuff. And goat. Ah, who doesn't love goats? Goats are great. Well, they don't smell all that great, but the outside of them is pretty neat.
Except for their creepy eyes.
Well,
I forgot about that.
some of them have those what blue eyes or
I don't
gray
think they have those
eyes. or-
pupils that go
gotta
like
look
this.
At 'em like this.
They got rectangular. They got
tell you this.
rectangles.
I don't like them.
Rectangles.
Goat is
I like goat.
is tough leather.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. And it comes nice and thin to make your wallet interiors or your linings or whatever you want to do. I like goat. It's not easy to see on this particular piece, but goat has character. It has a pattern of sorts that kangaroo does. There you go.
Yeah, you can kind of see.
Yeah. It's great leather. You want to use small, here, just wound up before I make even a bigger mess. So goat comes in all kinds of colors.
Oh, yeah.
Comes in glazed and unglazed, and I kind of like the natural because then I can dye it whatever color I'm happy with. All right.
Do you know why goats have rectangular pupils?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, I do, because I looked it up. Because they're grazing animals, and so they have to keep an eye out for the predators. And so when they put the thing down, it allows them to have like this
Their
really
head.
wide. Yeah.
When they put their head down.
When they put their head down, it allows them to have a really wide
Oh, I never
view
thought about
so that they can spot the people that are going to come eat them.
helps them have a larger peripheral vision.
Yeah. So that's why they're this way.
So they don't get predators.
Because they're prey.
So your little anvil thing is about 6 inches long by about 2 inches wide.
I thought I put that on in the
You might have. I was just.
But people don't like to read.
2 by 6 inches.
2 by 6.
Well, I measured it right. And then what was the size
So-
of holes you did?
I did 5 holes,
Oh, 5 of them. 1, 2, 3.
each 1 inch apart. 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2, and 5/8.
You're quite a guy, Marvin.
It's all in
It's all in there. It's in the
It's all
description
in
of
the
YouTube. I
PDF.
You
put
guys
it in
can
the chat on
download it.
Facebook. Put it on the chat on Twitch.
All right. So
All for you to have.
So I knew somebody had asked. All right. And then we have piggies. Piggies are your friends.
They like to go to the
How do you
market.
like their eyes?
Nice and
Big eyes.
pig eyes.
I don't know if I've ever looked at pig eyes before. What kind of pupils do they have?
And do we have kangaroo skins?
Oh, yeah.
We do have some? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're on the website.
Yeah, they
Yep.
should be.
Yeah,
They're in
they
the
are, because
catalog.
I've bought some.
Oh, Liz, you're not gonna like this.
Yeah.
What kind of pupils do pigs have?
Like some of them are square, but some of them look normal.
They're
Okay.
kind of chubby.
All right.
They're chubby eyes.
Gosh, I have to tell you that I'm a big fan of bacon, and I can eat a sausage, but I've never looked in the owner's eye. I have to admit that I like pig leather, but I've never gotten close enough to
Pigs
look
are
a
cute.
pig
I
in
like
the
pigs.
eye. Little pigs are cute, but
Yeah.
so are little goats. I mean,
They
it's-
are, unless you look them in the eye. And then you're like, ah!
so
Anyways, back to pig.
piggy is tough leather too.
Oh, yeah.
Pig is using a lot of linings. I mean, pig is a popular lining leather, and it's got character. It's got cells. It's got pores. I don't know what you call that. A pattern on it. It looks good. However, piggy has a problem.
What's that?
Piggy is porous.
It is.
We don't want a pitiful porous piggy.
We don't want pitiful pores. Yeah, so you can kind of see, like the grain is, there it is.
So
Pretty open.
I'm going to ask Liz. I've got a little pre-cut sample of piggy.
Pre-cut piece of pig.
5 by 5 inches, in case anybody asks.
Is that on the sheet, Marvin?
No. And I'm going to ask Liz to just put a coat of
Oh, right.
old Van
I'm
Grip
gluing again.
on
Oh,
there.
look at that great shot.
It's all right, guys.
There we
I'm
go.
just gluing.
But everybody wants to see the work that you can do, Liz.
There, we're going to
I'm
glue that up.
all right.
You're masterful.
No, what
good gluer.
I should have saved that little red bowl because that tongue depressor is flexible.
Oh,
And you could have used it to launch a wad of that rubber over to Tony and had it stick on his computer screen.
Or just on the forehead. I think
On
around the
his
corner.
forehead.
Blah.
That'd keep him quiet.
listen, I
for a
need
minute.
Tony on my good side.
Oh,
Nothing
okay.
keeps me quiet.
Yeah.
Even when he's not here.
Oh yeah, I get in the chats when I'm on the road.
Yeah. He's here even when
Just
he's
so I
not
can
here.
bug everybody all the time.
Is that how you show love?
That's something like that. If I'm not annoying you, I probably don't like you. Okay.
Wow, Tony never talks.
All right. Good enough. That ought to do it.
All right.
So, whatever you're going to do with it, you're going to use it for a lining. You're going to. All right. You take if you'll
you want that?
because I'm going to
Yeah.
dump that baby upside down. And when you do that, and I don't know that you can
Overhead.
see it.
Oh, you want to see?
Yeah, there we go.
Right. The glue, the cement is doing what?
Soaking through.
Soaking through. The
Yes.
deadly barge bleed right through your pig.
Leave it right there just for a second. Don't
And it gets worse as time goes by. It just sits there and bleeds through
and bleeds.
all those little nice pores that you bought your piggy for, because it has all those nice pores in it. So you want to use it for a liner. What do you do? All right, 2 options. One is you can switch from veg tan pig to mission pig. It's something that's glazed, something that's got a finish on it.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to bleed through. But if you want a natural pig liner on your tote bag, you do have a solution. And the solution comes in a can. And the can sort of looks like that. It is just a spray adhesive. I am not endorsing Gorilla brand spray adhesive.
Well, and we use
It's-
Super 77 here.
That's right.
So,
and,
yeah,
and it's a
this
very
is 3M.
popular.
Yeah.
It's a great, they're all great adhesives. A couple of precautions. But first, I'm not gonna do it because we've got enough vapors going through here to keep us rosy.
Yeah, we can go outside if we want to spray
Well,
some.
it is bleeding through. Anyway, you take your pig lining and it's a shake it. Yeah, shake well. Anyway, and then just get back and spray it. There you go.
On the other
And
side.
it's a thin coating. It won't
That's right.
bleed through. You can use this one of two ways. You could spray your lining or your project, I don't care, with one coat, put this on, smooth it out, get your roller out, and it'll set up.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can use it like contact cement. Just spray both items. Let them tack up, and just put them together. And that's how I use it.
Okay.
I use it the other way.
Do you?
I don't have time.
Well, it's more forgiving the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't just instantly grab.
Well, plus you don't have to spray both sides.
Right. It saves you
Yeah.
half.
Yeah, if you're
half
impatient like me. Depends on what you're doing.
Apropos of nothing except vapors. When I buy a product like this that has where the warnings are longer than the directions, I go online and find what's called an MSDS,
Yep.
Material Data Safety Sheet.
We have a link to all the MSDS sheets. I think they're actually called SDS sheets now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Material is the M, but yeah, we just call them SDS sheets. At the
SDS
bottom on the
sheets.
footer of our website, any page.
If you put Gorilla Glue in there, the SDS, and I had to write this down so I wouldn't kind of brain spasm here, says that the propellant is dimethyl ether. When I was using it, don't fall over, Marvin. When I was using it, I thought, I recognize that smell. Recognize it. Hey, what is that? So I got no. So I looked it up and I thought, ether. Oh, use enough of it and knock you right out. I mean, it was an anesthetic, right?
To do emergency open heart surgery on someone.
So then I checked, and
Spray
actually,
them with that stuff.
this is dimethyl ether, and the stuff that was the anesthetic and starting fluid. You remember the starting fluid, right? That is diethyl ether, so it's not the same stuff. This is dimethyl. The stuff that puts you to sleep is diethyl. Everybody wanted to know that.
Okay.
So there you go. I mean, come on. I cannot.
Science.
I can't be the only nerd. I cannot be. There's some of you out there that have to be friends of nerds. Okay.
There's a reason why you search that stuff, though, because you like blowing things.
Well, yes, I just assumed that it says it's highly flammable. It says to shut off your space heaters and your stove and everything before you use
Have
it.
you tried to blow it out?
Do you go outside and light it
I
on
will
fire?
neither confirm nor. I'm not going to confirm or deny that. I'll just leave it at
The after
that.
party on Twitch.
Marvin's house.
Just let me tell you this. Holding a lighter out here and spraying that is not what you want to do.
No.
This, let me tell you. This, I heard that that's
Okay.
a bad thing to do.
You heard through the
That's
grapevine that that's
a bad thing to do. Okay, so that's spray adhesives. If you want to
Well, that's got a lot of stuff going on.
oh yeah,
That's fun.
it's a cutting mat, right? A craft cutting mat. I think anyway,
all those things.
you can get right different sizes holes and angles and oh gee whiz.
Look, it's even got hexagons, guys.
But what it does is keep your knife from cutting your kitchen table. But the reason I'm showing it to you is tooling thin leather. I mean, or stamping for that matter. It's hard to tool. 4 to 5 ounce. I mean, that's tough.
4 to 5 is as light as I like.
I'm not even very good at that. And 2 to 3, forget it.
You're just going to cut right through.
You're going to cut right through.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can model it. more.
There is, however, a way you can temper that.
Okay.
Reduce it. And that's what this is. The
gives it a little give.
rule of stamping is you got to have a firm surface, right? The rule of stamping 4 5-ounce leather is you take a little cushion and you put it and then stamp on that, and it gives just a little bit and keeps your stamps from eating through that thin leather. It takes a little practice, but what in leathercraft doesn't take a little practice. But if you like to stamp thin leather and you're having a problem with the tools just going right through it, just try a little cushion in there. It works pretty good. All right. Let me check my notes because I think, Liz, that we've got. Yeah.
Well, we haven't gone over your fun leathers yet.
We're about to have some fun. There is one other thin leather that I want to show everybody and talk about at some length. And that is parchment. Everybody's heard of parchment. Now, we're not talking about parchment paper.
So usually when I think about parchment, I go back to
medieval manuscripts.
Yeah,
Right.
Egypt. Like that's where I go.
If you Google parchment, you will get 80 pages of parchment paper
Okay.
to use in cooking.
Oh, yes.
If you want to Google parchment leather, you got to put parchment leather in there, and that narrows your search considerably. And it was used, still is used by calligraphers to make pages in books, right?
Really
Parchment.
fancy, expensive.
Animal skins. Let me reach over here and pull that one in. Okay. Parchment is rawhide.
So it's not leather.
No, that is leather.
I'm glad you asked.
Oh.
Because
Rawhide is not.
it depends upon where you get your definition.
And who you talk to.
If you look up leather, most definitions say tanned animal skins. Rawhide is by definition not tanned. But if you go to the right books, and you can find them, I did, it says leather is processed animal skins, processed so that they won't rot. Okay, which is what tanning does, whether it's chrome or veg or whatever, alum, right? So there is a legitimate debate about whether this is leather, and working with it is leather work. But I'll tell you, the people that braid leather would probably take umbrage. That's your third word. Umbrage.
You are a nerd.
Did you? Proudly. We're going to get into that Friday. Anyway, they would call those people that braid rawhide whips and handles and whatnot would call themselves leather workers. I'll bet. They might call themselves rawhide workers, but I doubt it. So, is it leather? Not really. It's rawhide. It's rawhide. Okay? Is that a type of leather? Most places, when you look it up, it's listed in the dictionary of different kinds of leather. Rawhide. It is.
Animal skin.
It's animal skins, mostly goats and calves. The outside of baby cows and baby goats. Not baby goats, big goats. Anyway, but you can make parchment out of any skin. The company that I buy it from, and there are 2 links on the website.
Okay. In that handy dandy PDF that you can download.
One of them sells nothing but goat. The other sells goat, calf, sheep, and deer parchment. Yeah? So, these happen to be from goats.
They run the gambit
These
of
are
leather,
goats.
of animals.
And let's see here. Liz, if you can pull that down. All right. What we have.
These are
and
so
Tony,
amazing.
let me see if we can get. There we go. This is goat. Would you hold that bottom one down? That is natural, and this is bleached.
Tony,
I
can you
don't see, know
maybe
if you
make
can
this
see
less bright?
See the difference in that.
I just don't know that I can see that. I can see your arm.
You're gonna try to do it from there.
Well, it's just so solid
Yeah.
color that I can't really. It's heavy.
No, there you go.
There we go.
That's
you can kinda
all
see
right.
it there.
It's very clean
Okay.
parchment.
It is. Let me say. Okay, so that you can see is a little cream color, and this is white, and the white's been bleached, but they're both goat.
Okay.
And Liz, how thick is parchment?
Let me show you, Marvin.
You can only show Marvin, otherwise you're gonna have to do a real cool trick.
So this is right at 1 ounce.
Yeah.
Is where we're coming up with
There
that.
you go.
Right at 1 ounce.
When you buy it, they sell it not in ounces, but millimeters.
Yeah.
0.3 of a millimeter, 1/10 of a millimeter, which is thin rawhide. It's like working with really heavy paper, except there are some
You can see the spine right here.
restrictions. Yeah, the goat pattern on that. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna see if we can make this less bright.
It also, it invaded,
Now you might be able to unroll it and see it.
Yeah, you can see some of that now.
there
You
you
can see
go.
that spine.
right, right. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
All right. It also comes, let me pull this little, I got a surprise in here if it doesn't bite me.
Oh. Natural.
This is a piece of goat.
Look at this little guy.
You can tell by the,
Hey, let me come back over here.
right.
Let this
Look.
dark piece show up.
I didn't know this was coming.
that's great. That's too good. There you go.
There it is.
Thank
There
you.
we are.
All right, you can tell it's goat by the stripe down the spine. But go ahead, Liz. Slip your hand in there.
Look at that.
That is
Look.
transparent
You can
rawhide.
read. You can read words through there.
Now, why they did that or how they did that, I don't know. And if you look over this way, you can see it's not completely. There are some
Little. Oh, there it is.
shady spots on there that aren't completely clear. But some parchment. This is, I believe, pure collagen.
Most natural rawhide is fairly translucent.
That's
Yeah.
translucent.
Yeah. So when we get like our
They used
cow.
to use it for windows. You know, the pioneers
Yeah.
used it for windows in their cabin.
So that's parchment.
I heard you've got one really cool piece of parchment at home that you didn't bring with you.
What's that?
I heard you're telling me about your other piece of parchment,
Oh,
an exotic parchment.
I have an ostrich. A whole ostrich without the.
And he didn't bring it. Can you believe this?
It's 12 square feet, I think. It's a big old
Big
ostrich
bird.
that was turned into parchment, and part of it is transparent like that.
Does it have the little?
It has all the little
Pimples
quill
all over?
marks on it. Yeah. From the,
Wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah,
I'm sorry I didn't bring it
us
because
too.
everybody's calling me a liar, but I'm telling you.
Yeah, we don't believe you.
We told him he had to send a picture when he got
I have
home.
just maybe we can put my wife's email address on there. She's honest. She'll tell you that I'm telling you the truth. she'll vouch for me. Okay.
I don't know if she'd appreciate
Okay.
that too much.
So, just a few things about working with parchment here. And these are scraps, okay, of parchment. And you can see that it comes in at least these many colors.
Look how fun this is, guys.
All right. And this piece is, again, partially translucent
Oh, hey. This is what I was
and
going to do.
partially not. And we're going to, there you go. Okay.
You can kind of see.
These colors came from the tannery. I tried to dye the parchment and was not successful. I don't know how they do it. because I used
They probably have special types of
Phoebe's
dye.
dyes. You couldn't use a water-based dye. You get water on rawhide and it turns to mush.
Well, you just let it dry back out.
Well, no, then it dries back out, but as it's drying, it tries to assume the shape of the goat that it came from. Right? That's not good. It just doesn't
You might
work.
need a stretching board.
So these are some of the colors it comes with. And what can you do, you might ask,
Well, you made all sorts of stuff.
questioningly, with parchment? Let me show you. Liz, would you
Yeah,
the
let me-
lamp? The lamp. for
That
this.
is a cool lamp. Okay, I've
Now-
got a project.
Now, I thought Denny might appreciate that lamp.
So what did
Let
you say
me-
you had a friend make this out of a fly rod, obviously?
Let me go a little bit. There we go. We don't have much room. There we go. Larry the barber
Larry the barber.
made this for me. My
Wait,
barber.
what was the other guy you had the last time?
Oh, Paul the wood turner.
Oh yeah, Paul the Woodcutter.
Paul the wood turner.
Is it just all three of you in Wyoming?
Oh no, Paul the wood turner lives in Cumbria, England.
Ooh, okay.
But Larry the barber lives in Casper, Wyoming. Yeah. And is a fisherman and knows I like to fish and made me this lamp. I mean, it's got a lily pad, whatever.
That is nice.
It's got a nice reel on it that still clicks. Ooh. All right.
It's a fidget lamp.
It did not come with this lampshade. This lampshade was what I made, what called proof of concept.
Okay.
Here, right? Can I make a lampshade? And when I finish, what will it look like? Okay? And so
Isn't that
it
cute?
looks like a lampshade.
Nice.
It was actually pretty easy because when I pulled off the old, I just bought a cheap lampshade, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I pulled off the old fabric, there was a thin piece of plastic around
Yep.
here that the fabric was glued to. That's a perfect pattern. I just had to set it on the parchment and cut it out.
Nice.
I did.
And then you double loop laced it.
I double loop laced it all by myself. All right.
Right around the metal frame.
Right around the, and I'll take that off and we'll show everybody.
Okay.
I did oil it. I put neat's foot oil on the parchment, and I swear in fact, I wrote it down.
Did you dye this? Or is
No,
this how
it
this
came.
came?
It came
Okay.
that way.
Okay.
It doubled the amount of light coming through there.
Oh, it made it more transparent.
And you might ask yourself, how does he know it doubled it? What if it was not 2 times, but 1.7? Aha!
I think we're about to get a little nerdy, guys.
Marvin's got an old school Luna Pro Gossin light meter from back in the days when people
Yeah.
used actual film cameras. Right?
Of course you do.
And I measured
I can
the
show you
lumens.
one.
I measured the lumens coming through there.
Yeah.
And it was 1.98 or something like that. It was close enough to
Yeah, I used to use it all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Good guess, Tony. That's all right. Doesn't everybody? Nah, never mind. All right. So let's unscrew this so we can
I got
look
a couple
little bit.
leather questions here, maybe along the line.
Go ahead.
Not really the parchment part, but Brocky was asking Denny, Liz, so skirting leather, natural leather, bridal, latigos. What's kind of the difference between it? I know Chef Herman talks a little bit in the video that we have, some
really
of it,
big
but
question.
what makes skirting leather skirting leather?
Skirting leather and strap leather or tooling leather are exactly they come out of exactly the same vat that they tan, both of them the same. Skirting leather is left in the vat quite a bit longer because it's so much thicker.
Not leveled or not.
Yeah, it's
all.
unleveled. It's full thickness, and also I believe the strap leather or tooling leather is full thickness too, but they're lighter weight hides, and they split them afterwards after they're tanned.
Yeah. That's my understanding.
Yeah, and latigo and harness and bridal leather are all retanned, which means they're tanned initially, in the vegetable tannage, and then they're retanned with whatever the liquors they use. Whatever their recipe is.
Right.
I'm not sure. But,
And then some added waxes.
Yeah, I know, like
yeah,
at
they use a
Herman
lot
Oak.
of different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Herman Oak, they have this like crazy vat that is their wax pit. And that thing has literally never been cleaned since Herman Oak's inception. And like on the floor, it's like a foot thick of just wax. And you don't get really close to that because it's hot, it's boiling. So when they put those hides in there to like the old world harness, that when you get it, it's literally just peeling wax. It goes into those vats and then it comes back out, and then it's a little weird, and a little scary because you could probably murder somebody in the wax vat.
And they never find
And
the
then-
body.
Well,
Never
not until they finally clean it.
Well,
Probably
and by
never
then
gonna
the
happen.
body would be rotted away anyway.
Anyways, it's a cool
All
thing.
right, let me get a light colored background here. Did that answer the question?
We talked about it.
All right. So I did double loop stitch this just around the wire frame that existed. I discovered a couple of things that I did wrong when I
You made
did
some
this.
discoveries?
Oh, yes. For some reason that we don't want to go into, I decided that I'd oil this after I assembled it. So what did the oil do? Soak right up into the braid. It used to be a pretty color brown. Now, it's brown.
Still a nice color.
It's a nice color, but not the color I wanted. In this seam we've got here
Yeah.
is a problem. I thought I could just put a little basting tape on there and it would hold the seam down, and it does
for a minute.
for 180 seconds. Yep,
He timed it.
there you go.
Especially probably
That's
once it
it.
gets warm.
Right.
It'll release.
But next time I'll know, and I don't know if I would sew down that or not.
You can
Every
bust it.
lampshade has a seam in it.
Yeah.
You just put it to the wall and go on with life.
I would buck stitch it.
All right.
It's so good.
So, lampshades. What else can you do
With parchment. Oh,
with
hey.
parchment?
Let me get your little.
Why don't you get the parchment pouch?
This is the pouch that
And,
holds the parchment project.
Well, we've got a couple that aren't in the pouch. This
Did you make this
this-
for me?
this little
It's green, guys.
okay. This little box. Victoria makes
Saw that,
these.
but, yeah.
My wife makes little boxes out of recycled Christmas cards, right?
Oh my gosh. Guys.
And so I gave her a piece of parchment and parchment scrap and said, "Well, make me one of your little Christmas card boxes," and she did.
Oh my gosh, look how
Nice.
cute
And
that
there
is.
you go.
Nice.
I
There you
love
go.
little. I used to make envelopes out of any piece of paper that I had.
And she just cuts it into a square and then folds it just
fold it
right.
around.
Uses a bone folder to make the creases, and
And I bet you're going to tell us about the glue she uses.
she doesn't use glue. She wouldn't use glue.
No.
No, but I did. Because the parchment is stiffer than her Christmas card stock. And so I used a little barge to tack it down.
All right. Because once again, when you're working with this, you don't want to use a water-based,
No.
Glue.
No water-based glue. Yes, this is a parchment credit card.
like, yes,
Holder.
you made that for me.
The,
Again.
gosh, she's gonna. All right. You can, I got a couple sample credit cards in there. You can put your business cards in there, right? Right? And I put a business card in there.
Yeah.
Turn it over.
Oh, you did make it for me. Thanks, Marvin.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Guys, oh,
Sorry.
no, you're good. Oh, baby. Look at that. I love your handwriting.
All right. So you probably have enough card holders. However, do you have a green parchment card holder?
No.
No one in the
Now I
known
do.
universe has a green
do now.
parchment card holder. I want to say one thing about this that I told you earlier about sewing moccasin soles on that I have a class 4.
Yeah.
That
You stitched that with a class 4?
was sewn 1/8" stitch line on a class 4.
All right,
You
folks,
had to-
everyone that's always wondered if you can stitch something thin with a class 4, there you go.
That's a whole nother video, but the short version is this stuff is really stiff. You talk about a firm hand.
Yeah, it doesn't
It
budge
is
up.
firm. So that's how I can get a 1/8" stitch line.
Yeah.
As far as the stitching goes, you know that when you set up the tension on any machine, you're trying to get the knots to be right between the two pieces of leather you're trying to sew.
That's right.
That's the goal. But what if the leather is thinner than the thread?
Then you have a situation.
You have a knot on each side.
You have a knot, and so there's knots on this. You can see the knots on that. I'm sorry. I think if you put that on a 26, you'd have the same problem because
it's so thin.
the leather is thinner than the thread.
Did you sew this was 138 or 69?
138.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running 16. Yeah. You really had to, once you finished this and you wanted to sew something thicker, you had a lot of fun getting that tension back, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And there's the trick, guys. You can do it, but then you have to fix it.
9 stitches per inch if you really want to know.
Woo!
Ooh, all right. So let's continue.
Aw, thanks,
on here.
Marvin.
You're welcome. Inside the leather pouch is a couple of more things we can show you that are made of parchment. All right. These
Those are fun.
These are pencil pouches.
These are the most expensive pencil pouches you guys have ever seen.
We'll talk about that in a second. Well, we can talk about that right now.
I love how dark the spine is, and it's green, almost.
Here's a good trivia question for you. Excluding exotics, what's the most expensive leather that Springfield Leather Company sells?
Well, after you brought in the kangaroo, that's actually probably the most expensive. Yeah.
Okay, and what is
it's like $18 to $20
I'd
a
still
foot.
say it'd probably be exotic.
Right.
Yeah, kangaroo's an exotic.
Would you count shell as an exotic?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So probably like the Herman Oak
But,
bridle, I think is
horses
where we
aren't
landed
exotic.
last week.
Horses are here, they're native, just like
but
cows.
Shell cordovan's exotic by definition. That's,
So probably
let's
the bridal
say
leathers.
a Herman Oak bridle, which is
like $12.99 a square foot.
Yeah. Oh, we got Italian leather. Oh, but we sell it.
That's pretty cheap. Yeah.
parchment,
How much did you spend here?
$20 a square foot. Yes. Did that
It's all
take your breath
hand
away?
done, right?
The reason is you want to see a neat video. Go onto YouTube and put parchment leather in there. And there's a couple of videos, including one from the company that I buy from, that shows the guys, it's a hand process. No machinery. It's dehaired by hand. It's thinned by hand. It's rubbed with pumice bricks by hand.
Well, yeah. So when we opened this, I was like, Marvin, what's on here? Because it's got this
really
feel
smooth.
to it, and I almost wondered if it was
This is sold
powdered
to calligraphers and people that make books and reproductions of old manuscripts because that's what was used for paper for centuries.
And they pumice
And they
it.
still do it. And they pumice it so that the ink will stay on there.
and not bleed everywhere.
So,
Sort of like nubuck in rawhide.
hadn't thought of that. I have to admit, that I hadn't thought of that. So, yes, Liz, these are the most expensive pencil bags.
That any grandchild has
But-
ever owned.
I have two things to say about that. One is, these are from my grandkids, and who cares what it cost? The other is, there are cheaper ways to hold your pants up than a tooled Herman Oak belt. There are cheaper ways to make pouches, but if that's the way you want to hold your pants up, do you even think about it? No.
Yep.
No, you
For sure.
just do it. So, this,
So cool.
this one, the orange one here, is Braden's school colors. He's going to start high school next year, and his school colors are black and orange. This is Jaisley's pouch. She likes blue. And Adam hasn't chosen yet. But those are magnetic clasp. The edges are doubled over. Let's see, there we go. So all these are doubled over. Again, so on a class 4. That's the machine I got. That's the machine you use. That's pretty skinny leather. Although, when you think about it, there's 4 layers there since I rolled the edges. So it is going through 4 layers, at least along the edges.
Still thin.
It's still mighty thin leather. Yeah. And these
We're not saying we recommend it. We're saying it's possible.
are
Ooh, that brown one.
document envelopes.
Oh, yeah.
You remember the old school envelopes?
That paper.
that had the two circles of paper and a string on it that you put documents in? Well,
We have a pattern pack.
you do. I almost bought that baby. My daughter-in-law, Wendy, asked if I would make her document holders out of parchment. And I said, sure. So
Look at that. You can just read it right through your
that
folder.
particular document holder is great because you can just read right through it.
Yeah, you can see what you put in there.
And that is, I don't know what you call you can see that parts of it aren't exactly transparent, but that's
Transparent.
semi-translucent, semi-transparent.
Okay, so Marvin, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So if we're protecting our papers, what happens if we get caught in the rain?
Hey,
with
I
our-
just had that question on
Parchment.
2 different chats.
Is that right? All right. Water and rawhide are not happy together. They're happy together if you want to wrap some around the horn of a saddle. But to answer your question, what would happen if you were walking out with this? I would not use it as an umbrella,
No.
right? It would work once, right? It's,
Get your papers out.
you can get your papers out.
If you were walking out there for an hour, you wouldn't want to do that. But if you were walking from a building to your car,
It wouldn't soak up that
yeah,
quick.
you would be fine.
Yeah, you would
Well,
be
let me-
fine. You just wipe the leather off. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, so if you do use it for the handle wrap on a horn, like the horn wrap, I mean, horses are out and all sorts.
Sure.
Like you're out there.
It doesn't fall
It's-
off.
Yeah, there's
it
always
just
been a
dry?
dilemma about that. Some people love it, some people hate it. When in the rain, it gets real slick and slimy and silly. But when it's dry, it's really nice.
Oh, good.
And this one, let's see if, Tony, can we get a closer?
That's
Let's-
right. Oh, yeah, look
No,
at
wait a minute. We can see it.
all those hair follicles.
These are hair follicles on here. What they call antique parchment. That means factory or tannery reject.
Okay, sure.
Antique.
Because this is going to be your number one.
Right.
Just
Number
perfect
one's
stuff over
clear,
here.
perfect. You can write on
Well,
it.
this one even so you can see all the hair
Right.
follicles all the way
Right.
along the edge here, which
And
is
I
pretty
think
cool.
that's the center of the goat, right?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
that looks like a
was-
spine.
That was the spine of the goat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's it so far. Yeah, the things I've made out of parchment. I'm still
Where's the pear tree?
working
It's a
on
little
that.
early in the year, Marvin.
Did you make all of those
Yeah.
out of dry parchment? Or
Yes.
Did you,
Oh no,
any
it was dry. Oh yeah.
So no way
Yeah.
to waterproof it? Water resistant?
I tried that,
bag,
and every
bag.
Oh, put your parchment in a bag.
Yeah.
every time I come to Springfield, which is twice,
Yeah.
I forget something, and I got a data sheet on the tests I ran on parchment. Which glues hold the best? Which finishes work the best? Don't use a water-based finish. Not good. You know which one works the
Solvent-based
best?
products only. Some quick shine.
There you
Denny
go.
said that he could work with parchment forever if he could quick shine it.
So you can put a finish on it, and you can put oil on it. I tried various oils, including our French saddle soap, which works. Makes it even a little more translucent.
Well, let me.
I didn't bring it with me,
Does the company recommend any products for finishing?
No, see, the company
What is it
caters
per- I can't ever
to
pronounce
people
it.
who Pergmana,
Is that
right?
Okay.
The company caters to calligraphers
Mm-hmm.
and people that do bookbinding and maybe repair old manuscripts or reproduce an old manuscript. I am an anomaly. Anyway, I am an anomaly. So much so that not long after I started working with Parchment and buying from this company, I got an email from the director of marketing that says, "Dear Marvin, you've been buying an awful lot of our parchment. What are you doing with
What
that?"
are you doing?
And so I sent her some photos back. And I would have loved to have been in the office when she opened that email and went, "There's something wrong with that guy." It's not
Making
right.
pencil holders.
He's making pencil holders and credit card holders out of parchment. Anyway, but then she got fascinated and wanted to know more. In any case, yeah. So, yes, it's expensive. No, unless you want something to play with, I wouldn't go out and spend. This is at $20 a square foot. This is what,
Well, so let me ask you.
$50 document
Yeah,
holder.
so-
It's-
Is the number 2 stuff, the reject stuff with the hair follicles, is that still $20 or is that a little bit less?
Unfortunately,
Is that where it starts?
That's where it starts.
Okay.
Because the processing is the same,
Yes.
whether it comes out sweet or not.
So how much when you start getting into the number 1, the stuff for calligraphy?
The
Is it like $50 a foot?
no, it goes up like to 25.
Okay, so not
Up
that,
against,
not too bad.
Not terrible.
And it comes dyed from them, right?
Yes, no, I could not dye it. I've not given up. But, and, tanneries are run by nice people, knowledgeable people,
With their secrets.
but they are tight with proprietary information.
Yeah.
Dear Grace, the lady at Pergamena, would you tell me how you dye this?
No.
Crickets, right? No, it's not.
Your projects look great. Thanks for sending.
No, they're not going to tell me
Yeah.
how they do that.
If you were gonna hand stitch that, what kind of needle and thread thickness would you use?
Wow. First of all, I would use something that has got a decent stitch length on it. Like 8, but probably 7 stitches per inch would be better. You can perforate this stuff like an old school postage stamp, right? And have it, trust me, and have it come apart on you. Boy, I'd use some fine thread or it would just not look right.
I mean, you could get regular sewing machine thread, a 69 or a 138, and pull it through beeswax.
right. It would be.
Even this looks like it's really close to wanting to
Now, see,
perforate.
yeah, and that was just a standard chisel.
Yeah.
Right? And that worked just fine.
Did you do that rawhide lamp out front? Or did...
Out front? No.
Excuse me, Denny.
Maybe John did it.
Is there?
Could have.
Doesn't matter.
Not that you guys can see it from the studio.
But it would be easier to hand stitch this than machine sew.
Yeah.
Sure.
If that answers the question.
Yeah.
You could use
Could
a
definitely be
regular
done.
hand doll.
Sure. Sure.
And that, because something that thin, it would be pretty easy to use.
Oh,
a
it's
hand
easy
doll.
to punch
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
It sure is. It sure is. But it is durable. It's rawhide.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just take a sheet and tear it. That isn't. You can.
though it's 1
You
ounce.
can do that. Yeah. It's pretty tough stuff. So I think that's
Is that what you got?
all the abuse that I can heap on.
Well, I have one more quick thing today. Special package came from Mr. Travis Allen. So super exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't opened this yet, but he sent us a trading card, didn't he?
All right.
He sent us 2, but he did say for Liz, so I get to open it. Thanks, Travis. Look how beautiful
Ooh.
these are. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's good.
Those are high end there.
Oh, Travis, those are wonderful. Thank you so much. We will send you a couple in return. Oh my gosh, look at that.
I've got to see it.
That's try and make that out of your fancy parchment. I
Those
don't
are-
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are real nice. Thank you so much, Travis. We will send
Where's
you
Travis at?
His house, maybe at work, I don't know.
Kansas.
I don't keep tabs on him that close.
Nice work, Travis.
Thank you so much for participating in our trading card
He's a live shopper.
traders.
He's a live shopper.
Cool.
That happens tomorrow.
These envelopes
nice.
always have just so much, like when you open them, they go,
What fun to get packages and open them.
know,
Sure,
I
just
love
like
it.
Christmas. Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, we're going to need you to work on some more trading cards, Denny, in your spare time.
Yeah, we might.
We're running out of cards to give away.
What are you getting
I don't-
all
That's-
away for?
that's-
Because people keep sending them
They
in.
send us a card and then we send them a card.
Yeah, but there's diminishing returns there.
So what do we got? So Circle A leather. is who Travis is. Circle A leather. Check them out. These are gorgeous. Thank you so
Why don't-
much.
People probably get one back instead of two back.
should
Sorry,
get-
Travis.
You should get old Kevin to help.
He
Well,
does.
he does, but they
Yeah,
only make like
so
one or two every
Yeah, I
month.
watch every episode.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, you still have some on your bench you haven't finished up.
Yes,
Okay.
I've got 4 of them.
Oh, from
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
because then he went on vacation. Alrighty,
And
guys.
so that is it for today.
What are we
Awesome.
doing on Friday? Sorry to interrupt.
No, I was about to say,
It's gonna-
if you think that what we did today was a little eccentric, wait till Friday.
Just wait till
Just
Friday.
wait till Friday. Oh yeah, we're going off the deep end.
Marvin
all
brought
together.
his whole bucket of tips and tricks to show us.
So we've got some more things to look at.
But he's not going to tell us what.
Oh
It's
no,
just gonna be
not
fun.
even going to
It's
give
a
you
surprise.
a hint.
Alrighty.
No, not even going to give you a hint. But I hope I see you all on Friday.
We're going to
Okay.
clean this table up and then live shopping set up.
Yep. So if
Right.
anybody wants to keep hanging out with us, we're going to set up live shopping. You can jump over to our Twitch stream and watch that with us. Tomorrow at 2 on Facebook, we will be back with the live shopping. And then Friday at 11, as always, we will be back with Marvin in the studio. So we will see you guys then. Have a good one.
See ya.
Catch you.